We're going to talk urban necessities today. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Fire Footwear. As always, I'm your host, Matt Freitz, and today we're going to do a little bit more of an informal video. Full disclosure, I actually recorded a video on this right before I went on vacation over a week ago. And the irony is, I deleted it as I was getting rid of stuff on my SD card because I needed it for photography. So here we are, about a couple weeks late, and we're getting to urban necessities here, at least in video form on the channel. For those of you who don't listen to the podcast, I did an episode on urban necessities a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to do an addendum to that in audio form a little bit later. But I wanted to sit down here in a more informal and inviting atmosphere to talk about urban necessities. I've been asked a lot about how I feel about it, and I think that it's a multi-pronged situation. So for those of you who don't know, Urban Necessities is a very popular consignment store. Consignment stores for sneakers are pretty common these days. When I got back into sneakers back in 2018, I went to Flight Club, probably the most famous consignment store, at least it was at the time. And it's pretty common. You have resale value of shoes. People bring these shoes to somebody, and those people sell it for a cut of the profit. So you, as the consignee, get a cut of the money. The store takes a cut, of course. This is not uncommon in the United States at all. It's actually not uncommon in sneakers at all. But Urban Necessities is one that I think had been considered a trusted platform for a while. And a couple of weeks ago, some news had come out via social media about the fact that consignees were not getting the money for the shoes that were sold on their behalf, and that customer service was lacking as it related to these lack of payments, and of course, Urban Necessities. And when I cut the original episode, I didn't have a lot of information. Now, I didn't give a hot take on Urban Necessities at all. As a matter of fact, I likened it to the way that resale works here, and I think that it is that. But now that we have at least all of the information, and when I say all of the information, I don't mean that we have all the facts. We have all the conjecture from both sides. We have 2J's Kicks, we have Urban Necessities, and then somewhere in the middle is going to be the truth. Urban Necessities is not the first store to have an incident like this. If you remember Zeta Kicks, of course, taking pre-orders, not being able to fulfill those pre-orders. Trophy Room, who is a very, very popular boutique in sneakers, was backdooring shoes. And a lot of people see backdooring as bad, but backdooring is just part of the culture. And that has a lot to do with resale as well. And now, since all this has happened, we've seen a ton of videos on social media. And those are the two things that I want to focus on: resale culture and social media. Because this entire thing with Urban Necessities actually has a lot to do with both. And this whole situation actually showcases a lot of what I see as part of the culture and also part of the problem with the culture. Let's start with resale. Folks, resale is part of the game. It's always going to be a part of the game. And really, it has been always a part of the game. It just has evolved over time. We're now sitting at the 40th anniversary, the 40th birthday of Jordan Brand, and resale has always existed. Back in the day, it was a much more what I would call a personal interaction. Now, with GOAT and StockX and other platforms, it's become impersonal. But also one thing has changed in the fact that prices have gone sky high. Number one, the price of retail shoes has gone up, and also the hype has gone up. Therefore, the resale prices have gone up for a lot of shoes. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And that's where resale traffic's in the most. It's hype. Hype drives a lot of people to do certain things. It drives people to buy certain shoes, and it makes them feel as if they should have or should wear shoes that other people are hyped about. Hype isn't the be-all and end-all of sneakers, and I think since the pandemic has waned, we have learned that that is the case. We have learned that we should wear what we like, buy what we like, and call it a day. Not everybody has to be involved in sneaker culture in the same way, but I think something like this, where resale is involved, makes people feel a way. And resale has always made people somewhat uncomfortable. A lot of people feel that resale is the reason why sneakers are dead. It's not. It's just one element that makes sneakers a lot more difficult in terms of a barrier to entry. If your first sneaker is one of the most hyped sneakers of all time, then yes, resale is going to be the enemy to you. But that's the thing about Urban Necessities. That's the thing about Trophy Room. It's the thing about Zeta Kicks, is a lot of this has to do with resale. And it has to do with the fact that resale is already seen as bad. And now when you have a situation where people are trying to profit from resale, which is what a lot of people did, the advent of GOAT, the advent of StockX, and of course the hype that was driven up by the pandemic made it a profitable experience for people to resell sneakers. A lot of people who were in the culture at that time weren't in it for the actual culture. And the thing is no shade to me. If that's the way that you want to do it, go for it. It's capitalism. You make your profit and move on. Those of us who love the culture are going to find a way to get the shoes that we want anyway. But for a lot of people, that profit is seen as being culture vultures. And so when you have a company like Urban Necessities who is trafficking in this, and then of course not paying these people what they are actually owed, that's going to make people feel away. And I'm never going to support a business that is not transparent with its customers. Hard stop. But then on the other side of that, we have social media. Social media to me is a part of our life in a way that will never be broken. We are always going to have social media, unless of course it eats itself alive. But social media is here to stay. Social media, in my opinion, has a lot of really good qualities to it. We can stay connected. We can meet people that we otherwise wouldn't have met. I can tell you that through this content journey, I have met a lot of people that I wouldn't normally have met. But also with social media comes a couple of other things. The first is toxicity, and the second is being able to have a platform. Everybody can have a platform. Being able to have a platform can be a great thing because you can spread a lot of positivity and a lot of positive messages. But sometimes everybody having a platform can be a negative thing. And in this Urban Necessities instance, you have 2J's Kicks, who's been doing a lot of Instagram lives, saying a lot of things, cutting a lot of videos, giving his version of the truth. And again, I don't actually know what the truth is. Nobody really knows what the truth is. But social media has allowed for this side taking to which 2J's Kicks can actually come out and tell people a certain story. He can give a version of the facts. He can say that his wife has cancer. And many people have taken his side. Taking sides in something like this to me doesn't really make a lot of sense because we don't have all the facts. But that is what social media has allowed. It's also allowed a lot of people, probably myself included at times, to be loud wrong about a lot. And I mean loud wrong. I don't get everything right. No one gets everything right. But having a platform to me is a responsibility. You have a responsibility to the people that follow you. You have a responsibility to be giving good information. And you have a responsibility to me to be authentic. I have no idea if Urban Necessities or 2J's Kicks or anybody that's involved in this is being their true authentic self here. But what I do know is that it has caused a ton of gatekeeping. It has caused a ton of people to have these opinions, to take these sides, to want to throw money at these people who, again, are trafficking in so much money. You want to give money to somebody who has way more of it than you do, and you're not even sure if it's the truth. To me, that's the toxicity of social media. And in sneakers in particular, social media can make people feel bad about not living the culture the way others do. The same as resale does. You see people who have a shoe and you think, oh, I have to have that, or I'm not a sneakerhead if I don't have that. And to me, that's bullshit. That's not actually true. Social media can be a great thing, like I said. We can connect with a ton of people, and that to me is a good thing. But what you do with that social media platform, what you do with those connections does matter. Many people build these followings and they forget where they came from. They forget that they came from a small level. Me, I had 0 followers when this started, and the fact that I have even 10, to me, is a minor miracle. I take that very seriously. So when I post on social media, it's always authentic. At least I try to be. And I think there's a lot of people out there who are not that way because the algorithm is unkind. People feel that they have to be a certain way, that they have to act a certain way on social media. And in situations like this with Urban Necessities, the toxicity is there for everybody to see because you see all of these truths out there, but we don't actually know what the truth is. I feel bad for the people that are involved here. I feel bad for the people that have put their shoes out and not received their payment. I feel bad for people who have put their trust in a company that has not given that trust back to them. I'm always going to side with the customer in this particular case because I think transparency, whether it's as a business, whether it's as a social media influencer or content creator, to me, that is always paramount. I want transparency. I'm going to give transparency. And I think that that's something that should be given at all times. When I look at this Urban Necessities situation, what I see is a lot of toxicity. I see resale having driven a business to go down this route, to be profiting off of people who are basically making money off of this ridiculous hype that is out of sneakers. I see people that are taking sides in something that they don't have all the facts on. And I see people honestly giving opinions when they don't have all the facts. I have no idea what the truth is with Urban Necessities, but what I do know is that as a business owner, I would want to be able to make sure that I could deliver on the promises that I was making to my customers, because there is a trust there. And when I see Urban Necessities not doing that, when I see one of the owners throwing others under the bus, trying to say that the shoe surgeon is part of this, there are so many elements embedded into this that we just don't know enough about. All I know is that a lot of people are hurting from this, but at the end of the day, another reseller will come up. At the end of the day, another social media influencer personality will come up, and it's up to us to make sure that we are following people that match our values. How do you feel about Urban Necessities? How do you feel about my opinion? Did I even give a real opinion? Let me know down in the comments. Were you somebody that had shoes that were sold by Urban Necessities, never got your money? I would love to know. Let me know down in the comments. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Make sure to check out all the other videos that we have on this channel. And again, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your patronage. I want to thank you for watching even 1 second of anything that I put out. I put a lot of work into this. I try to be my genuine and authentic self 100% of the time. And I hope that I meet that promise. Hope this finds everybody well. Hope this finds everybody safe. And I'll talk to you next time.